Welcome to episode 77 of the Lovoni and Sarah podcast. We're so glad you're here with us each week as we explore holistic ways to enhance our health and wellness, nurturing both body and mind. Join us as we dive into ideas for living a simpler, more meaningful life. I'm Lovoni.
And I'm Sarah, and this week we're talking about the importance of looking your best regardless of your size. You don't need lots of clothes to look good, in fact, quite the opposite. On today's episode, we're discussing how a capsule closet or wardrobe can eliminate stress, save time and money. Simple things you can do to look more stylish and more confident without spending lots of money, and while you'll feel better if you get up every day and make an effort on yourself.
If you were listening to last week's episode on stress and how to deal with it, you'd have heard we set ourselves a challenge to try and reduce stress in our lives and be more mindful of how we handle the stresses that we really can't do anything about because they're always going to be there. So how did you do, Sarah? Remind me what your challenge was.
So I said I was going to find a moment in the week and when I felt stress and try and step outside of it. So go through all the techniques that we talked about in last week's episode to try and understand that the fact that the thing that I'm feeling stress about is actually separate from the emotion that I'm feeling. So I have done that. I've been really mindful of that. And I've also made a list of all of the things that I sat down and had to think, all the things that I know that stress me out, that make me feel stressed. And I've made a list. It wasn't super extensive.
Like a toilet paper roll.
I was going to say, I tried to keep it concise. And then next to that little list, I then wrote all of the things that I was then going to put into action to help reduce that. So instead of just thinking, oh, I feel stressed. So for example, I can give you one of those things on my list was clutter. It stresses me out to the max. And so next to it, I've just put every day, like we talked about in our declutter episode, I'm going to do that. I'm going to get some things. I'm going to proactively get rid of it instead of trying to manage my way through it or around it, which makes me stressed. So those are the two things. Yeah. What about you? What have you done?
It was like that episode that we did where, instead of complaining about something, or having it bother you, just deal with it.
Do it.
Like
action.
deal with it as in like action with action. Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of like that sort of thing. For me, I've been practicing mindfulness with it because I have had quite somewhat of a stressful week.
We've had pain to deal with too.
Had a lot of pain with my back.
That just adds another layer
and
on,
not
doesn't it?
sleeping with it, which I think is the worst. And knowing that I have a big doctor's appointment tomorrow and that they're going to be all, because that's how they are.
Yeah.
And, instead of worrying about that too. But I've been mindful of the fact that I was doing it and I'm like, there's some stuff that you can't do anything about, like the sewage suddenly backing up in your house as you're getting ready to do a podcast or work.
Yes. Yeah.
So just things like that, instead of just losing my mind about it, it's just like, it'll get taken care of one way or the other.
That's
so
good.
I've just been very mindful, tumultuous times in relationship and, same sort of thing. It's like, I'm not going to stress about it.
And has that made you feel different to how you would have felt dealing with a stressful situation, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Better.
Just, and I think being mindful of how your body reacts, because I notice that a lot of stress I do carry in my lower back and through my bum, like just my glutes,
tension.
Where I just tighten everything up. And I'm aware of just like, just trying to relax that part. Yeah. I've got like sciatic nerve thing happening. So I just look and feel like I'm not really tired. Yeah. But anyway.
Well, you look great. I'm going to give you that. You don't look tired, so you're carrying it well.
It's really puffy and,
I know you feel it. I know, yeah.
Yeah. But I just think being mindful of what your body's doing too is
it's even like I carry mine in my shoulders, and so and then I suddenly find my shoulders are practically touching my ears,
like your earlobes.
Yeah, and the tension through that shoulder blade and through the top of my, going into my neck. So that's a physical sign, and so it's just bringing those shoulders down even makes a massive difference, isn't it? Like just relax.
Being aware, being mindful of what your body's doing and where that mind's just wandering. I've been listening to people worrying about things, and I'm like, okay, all right, now you really like, do I sound like that sometimes? Because
Mhm.
just running away with their thoughts, like worrying about things, and I'm thinking, okay, that I say to them that might not even happen.
Yeah,
So I've just been taking a bit of my own advice. But on to dressing. This is something that I love, and
yeah.
when I left school, that's what I
I know, I
studied.
found this out about you, and I didn't have any
Yeah,
idea.
yeah. I studied fashion and design, and I loved the creating, the drawing, and the creating outfits. What I didn't like was the sewing, because I had
Right.
very
The
little
doing,
patience when I
yeah,
was,
mhm.
18. So I ended up leaving that, which I'm sad that I did, but whatever. I have a really great sewing machine now, and I would really like to get back to doing that. Just
Mhm.
designing, clothes and for myself,
Yeah.
and, creating some outfits. My teacher called my mom, one of my teachers, and she said, I'm crushed, she's leaving,"
Oh,
because she said she's very good, and,
yeah.
um, she said, "Try and talk her out of it." So my mom did, but,
It's
hey.
never too late. Now,
It's never too No,
do it
it's
now
never too
instead.
late. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I mean, I'm not suggesting I'm gonna be a designer of any kind, but,
The next Vivian
just
Wordsworth would.
make my own stuff, which is not gonna
Mhm.
be over the top, but just things that I like to combine eras too.
Uh-huh.
Like that, the 20s, I love that, with a bit of the 70s. I do like,
Yeah.
the
Make
flared
your own
jeans
thing.
and
Uh-huh.
yeah, but do it in a like a, in a cool well, I think the 1920s were very stylish anyway,
Yeah.
but and that's something I think that I've got many thoughts on this, but and I'm dressed to go on a photo shoot and get dirty, get my arm like be
Uh-huh.
elbow deep in chocolate right now,
Yep.
because I've
Wash
got
it
a race
down.
to that. Yeah, but I think that one of the first things when people want to update their wardrobe, their closet, um, is that they need to not come up with a style, but just know what they like and what they don't like. I think, Pinterest is a really good place for
See, I was going to
that.
say this though. I think personally, there's clothes that I like in theory, and then I buy them and
Right.
I still
That was
like them.
going to be another thing,
Yeah.
dressing for your body
And
shape.
so you love them. And even then I think, well, that's going to be fine because I know my shape and I get them
Right.
and it fits fine, it fits my
Mhm.
shape, it fits, but yet I wear it and all day I feel utter shit because it's just
Right.
for whatever reason and that is a really big thing for me is I know the moment I put something on. Now that can
When
change
it
from one day to the
Yeah.
next. I could wear that again in 2 weeks time and I feel good in it. I feel, it works.
Right.
On that day, it's really not working for whatever
Mhm.
reason. And so I've learned that
Oh,
like
all day, you have a shit day.
take it off. Take it
Yeah.
off. Same with
Mhm.
jewelry. I put pair of earrings on. I've done it exactly today. I love the earrings. I wear them lots of times and I put them on. I was like, no, I'm just not feeling it today. So they had to
Right.
come off. So I think you should listen to your own intuition as well, don't you think, when
Yeah.
you're
Mhm.
picking
Oh,
things out?
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you put something on and you're like, "Oh, I'm just not feeling it," or it's a bit scratchy. What I think, for and everybody's different, but I can't stand when I'm wearing something and I have to keep, like, pulling it
Adjusting
up or
yourself.
fixing it
Hmm.
or adjusting it in some capacity, like a scarf that's not done up properly or something, and that drives me crazy. I like to put something on and I've got it on.
Tell you
I
what
don't
does
have to
drive me
keep
crazy is my underwear. I still can't find underwear that fits me properly.
Yeah,
So my
that's number
bra
1.
straps are always slipping down. In fact, I
Mm.
could do it
Oh,
right
no,
now.
that's not good.
And
That's
I
not
can't seem to get it fixed because then if I this is too much information probably, but if I pull it tighter, it rides up at the back, and then I'm like, oh, okay. So then I
okay.
have to have them. I don't know if it's my shape, whatever. Um, but those are the
Huh.
sorts of things also that does affect how you feel because if you're not
And having good
dressed
underwear. I
from
mean,
the
it's like
underneath out.
foundation.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh-huh.
So it's things like that that
But
drive you mad.
right. But some things because I mean, there are days where you just think, I just don't have it in me. And it's different if you're sick, if you're
Yeah.
ailing or something. But I mean, just to get up and not throw on something sloppy. I find here, and I'm sorry to Americans because I do love them in this country, but I just find sometimes when we go out, I look around and I think you look like you just were gardening and decided to go out to
Mhm.
dinner. And and I hate that about
Mm.
here. And I think, God, people just have some, I don't know,
It's like
just
it's that investment
pride.
in yourself, isn't it? Mhm.
Yes, yeah. So even if I don't see anybody in a day, I still will get up, do my
Yeah,
hair, put on some
I
form
do.
of
Yeah.
makeup, and wear something that, even if I'm cooking, that I like. And that's what I've done. And that's something for somebody that really wants to just dress and feel better about themselves. Well, to feel better about themselves, I think starting with your clothes is a really good, and no matter what your size. So go through, get rid of all the stuff that's ill fitting, because ill fitting clothes, when you're big, make you look bigger.
Mhm.
So I'm not suggesting figure hugging stuff, but just things that are so baggy that anything that's stained, ripped, that you can't fix, just go through and get rid of it. And
Mhm.
and we've talked before about capsule wardrobes, and people may not think that that's something that they could do, but I did it when we just did that renovation.
Yeah.
It makes such a difference. It
Yeah.
is so much easier to get dressed.
Well, don't you think part of that then feeds back to making a choice about what you're putting on in the day rather than just
Right,
grabbing something to put on in the day?
right,
So if you've got and I have got this, I have got a few things on my chair in the corner of my room, but as a general rule, they're all, that I've just taken off, but everything
right.
else is hung, folded, whatever. And there's that difference between just grabbing
And
something off the,
ironed.
it is ironed, yeah. I love it. But instead of just grabbing something off a chair, you can actually take it out of the wardrobe. You've actually made a choice about what you're going to put on. And I think that's a mental approach to something because, again, you feel like you've prepared for your day. I know that if
Mm,
I haven't done this at the beginning of my day is nowhere near as productive as if it has when I do. And I do 99% of the time do it. So it's okay. But
right.
on those rare days that I don't, I feel like utter shit all day. I feel like
Mhm.
I'm grubby, I'm not ready, I'm not on it, I'm not doing my giving my best in my work or to the world. So it is a state of mind. And it doesn't
Yes.
mean that they have to be expensive clothes. Let's make sure we say that too. We're not saying that they have to
Right,
be
right,
expensive. It's just a curated choice of what you like for you and works for you rather than what you wish worked for you. Because there's that too, isn't it? Like we were saying, you just sort of
mhm,
think, oh, I wish that looked good. So I'm going to give it yet another go. You're like, it really just doesn't work. So just
right.
give
I
it up.
know, like the wide leg pants. So I love, there's this color called rhubarb that one of the companies here have, and it's a really deep, rich red, almost towards like a bit of an ox blood, I guess, but not
Hmm.
quite that dark. And I love that monochromatic, which is a really good thing when you are big,
Yeah.
to dress all in one color,
Hmm.
regardless of what
What
that
the
color
color
might
is.
be.
Hmm.
Yeah. And and I got a shirt, like a blouse type shirt, and these pants that the picture on the model looked great. And she was a big girl too, but
Hmm.
um, she's like 5'11" or something, and I'm 5'6".
Yeah.
So they were like wide leg all the way down and quite high waisted. But what I found was I need like boot cut, and I think this is for a lot of people, boot cut or flared
Yeah.
is good because that sort of balances the top and the bottom out. But the straight down sometimes can make you just seem
Yeah.
shorter, or that whole,
Would
the
you
whole
do you ever
all the
watch
way down.
the reels
I
of
was
people that
bummed.
say, I bet you were. Yeah, when you found
Yeah,
somebody
because
you
the
love and you're
color.
like,
I
mm.
know, I know.
Mm. But what I'm really fascinated about is the reels where particularly women that I'm watching, they say whatever the weight are, they're like 90 kilos, they said, and then they've
Right,
got this dress on, and you just sort of look, and she looks quite frumpy, if I want to use that word, but really kind of
right.
flat. There's nothing about her. Same dress, and she says still 90 kilos. And then the next picture, you're like, oh my goodness me,
What, like,
she
put a
looks
belt or something?
incredible. Yeah, belt, accessories, does her
Yeah,
hair, earrings, as in she dresses it rather than it wearing her sort of thing.
Right. Mhm.
Same weight, same clothes, you know, same dress. Wasn't an expensive dress,
Mhm.
for example. It was a jersey dress, the one that I'm thinking of. And she did look completely different. And I
Completely
thought,
different.
and that is the answer, people. It's a case of just adding a little, but adding what suits you, the
Mhm.
things that you love, and make some rules for yourself. I
Right.
have my own few rules that I sort of say, well, if I'm going to do this, I don't do that. And just know what works or what you like. Other people might have an opinion. They might look at me and think,
Right.
what have you got on? However, there's going to be other people that think, oh yeah, that works. And so
Yeah.
you just got to find your own path and try not to worry too much what other people
What
think.
other people think. See, and I used to think that with black, and I've talked about this before
Yeah,
on here, because I like it. I've liked it since I was really quite young.
yeah,
My father used to tease me about it, the whole witches thing.
yeah.
But I don't know, I would just always been drawn to it. And when I moved to Canada and was working for a company there, I used to always be, you can tell you're from a big city because I always wear
Oh,
black.
okay.
And I'm like, "Yeah, I would never say that to people. Well, I could tell you have no taste because you wear track pants into work,
Yeah,
because that happened to people there.
yeah.
Yeah, you just got to do what you feel comfortable. But I'm like, I'm not talking track pants because they are comfy, or pajama pants or whatever, but comfortable as in that you feel like you're looking your best.
Dress for
And
the day.
that's like jeans and a nice shirt. But I always think that for a rule of thumb, a good thing is if you're wearing something kind of big and sort of a bit more flowy, like say a nice flowy skirt on the bottom, then the top should be
Smaller.
fitted.
Hmm.
And then the other way round, if the
Yeah.
pants are fitted, you can wear a more flowy thing on the top,
And that
but it
also
should
works
never
to
be
your,
like both flowy.
no, and it works to
Mm,
your, your knowledge and the best of your body. So you've got really great legs.
right,
So,
right,
you can, that's good. You can get your legs out and that carries it. So I
right.
would never do that because I really don't have great legs and I don't like my legs. So for me, it's more important that I'm flowier on, because I carry more weight on my bottom half. So the
Right.
flowier, the bigger, which means that I tend to wear slightly more fitted things on my top.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that I'm
Yeah.
small on my top, but I just know that
It balances
that's
out.
what
It
I feel
looks
better
better.
in. And if because
Mhm.
I'd never get my legs out, I mean, it just wouldn't happen. So I think you've just got to try and work out within your own body what you feel comfortable about, what you like,
Yeah.
and what you can then put out and just create some of those personal rules, not what someone else has told you, but personal rules around that. And I think that
Mhm.
really works when you're sticking to it. Um, I did a bit of looking up, and there's some talk around from a different people um, about enclothed cognition. Have you heard about this? So it
Mm-mm.
suggests that clothes trigger certain associations and expectations, and by choosing clothes that align with our desired self-image, we cultivate, excuse me, beliefs about ourself accordingly. So a
Right.
bit like we were just saying, if you only wear your slobby clothes all day long, you associate with that's your value. Maybe that's all that I
Mhm.
am. That's all that I can give. That's all that I'm worth. Dressing differently creates that cognition within yourself that creates a different
Right.
belief. And someone else then said, look good and feel better. Things that we wear
Mhm.
on a daily basis convey a narrative about our identity to the outside world and can significantly influence our state of mind. So there's multiple people out there that are talking about what you wear and how you present yourself genuinely changes your mindset and your
Mhm.
mental, state and how you think
It
about yourself.
that's so true.
And I
Yeah.
think, and I, so then I sort of got thinking about that. So it's true, isn't it? Because when we buy something new clothes, new bags, new shoes, whatever, that
Hmm.
little buzz, that little
Gives you a
pep
bit
that
of
we get,
sass.
it's because we've invested in ourselves. We've bought
Mhm.
something that we love and we're like, oh, I get to wear something new today because I'm wearing something that I love and I'm presenting myself to the world with a bit of something
Mhm.
extra. If we didn't care about that and it didn't change our mental state, we wouldn't have any change once we bought something new, would we? It'd just be like, oh,
Mhm.
well, another something. Um, and that then leads on to a bit like you were saying, having the capsule wardrobe. Don't mass buy or random buy or panic buy, because you never ever really end up with the things that you love, do you, when you do
Right.
that? And then you can come back months or even years later, you just go, I don't even remember buying that. The tag could still be on it, or it's never been worn, or I've worn it once and I don't really love it. And I think you waste your money doing it that
Mhm.
way, you're better off buying less, but buying something possibly a bit more expensive. Doesn't have to be, but just buying less, but something that you love.
Definitely. Yeah. And you know, and then that's another thing too, is like quality over
Yeah.
quantity. But having said that, if you get like a really nice, good fitting pair of jeans, maybe a blazer or something, and then you can go with a t-shirt that's,
Yeah.
cheaper, 'cause that's a good
Yeah.
look. But to get some good pieces, like a good winter coat, a good pair of boots, those type of things you might spend a little
Hmm.
more on, and keep them in the colors that go with your things that you already have.
Yeah.
Don't buy a brown handbag that's beautiful, thinking that, yes, you'll love that and use it all the time, when everything you have is black and it
Are you
doesn't
talking
quite
from
work.
experience there,
I
Lovoni?
am, yeah, yeah. And
I feel like
now
that was
you
a little
can't
confessional moment.
part with it because it was expensive and it is a
Yeah.
beautiful bag. Yeah,
Just if you wanted to
you
know,
have
I
brown, I
I
should give
have
it to
brown.
you.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, just if you
I
wanted
I know, right?
to.
I
I
should
do
send it
brown.
to you. You know what amazes me is traveling, because I think, when I travel, I try and make it so pretty much everything goes together.
Hmm.
You want to be comfy, especially if you're doing a long trip. And I have told Sarah, I've shared, I think I even sent you a picture one day of what it was.
Yes.
But there's like, ladies, can we just chat about the yoga pants on the
Leggings.
plane? Just like, I mean, honestly, one,
Oh,
keep them for your workout, but two,
yeah.
check yourself in the mirror, because when I'm traveling, I see
You
so
see
much
all
camel
sorts.
toe.
Yeah.
Seriously. Nobody needs to
Nobody needs to
see
see
that.
it.
So just have a little
Oh
check
my
in the
God.
mirror. Maybe
That,
pull them a
and
bit,
they go see-through. People don't realize
Mm,
that when they're stretched a little more,
mm,
they
yeah.
completely see
And
through, and you think,
And it
oh,
doesn't matter, yeah, whether you got a great body or not. No one wants to see your undies, your
no,
camel toe, your G-string. Yeah,
nah, yeah.
yeah. So can we
Yeah,
just
note to
like,
self,
yeah,
I won't
yeah.
do that next
No.
time. I tell you what, I
And
am really envious of though, and I
oh,
know that we were talking about leisure wear or joggers or whatever, but some people, and I'm so envious of it, they can have like a jogger's outfit, a leisure wear outfit, and they still look so on point. And I try to work out why they still look good, and I'm like, how do you carry that off? Because if
their
I wore
body, they're
that,
probably
I'd
super
look
fit,
like a
are
bag
they?
woman. I don't know. Some people are not. So
Huh,
yes, some people are. So they look good in a bin bag. However, I'm
right.
a bit like, oh, I wish I could do that. I think one of the things was a bit like you were saying is keeping the color scheme the same. So
Mhm.
the bottoms and the top, same.
Yeah.
Also, you think, and this is a big thing for me, and my family tease me about this, okay? I go, those shoes, those trainers don't go, or those shoes don't go. And they went, what do you mean? It's just shoes. I'm like, no, 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 no,
Oh,
no.
oh,
Like
no.
if you've got this on, you can't wear those trainers. You've got those ones that would work much, much better. And they're looking at me like I've come from another planet. But
Oh,
I think
really?
about that. Yeah, they're like, it's just the trainers. I'm like, no, no, it's not.
No.
No.
No, it's
So
the whole
I try and advise
ensemble.
about which one. And actually, my son's getting really good. And I was like, I've picked this, and I try not to knock him back too much because I also want him to get his own confidence in his
Yeah,
style and what he
yeah.
likes. And also, granted, I'm 48, he's just about to be 19. I'm not suggesting I can advise a 19-year-old on what to
Oh, yeah,
wear.
you can. Yeah, yeah.
But I'm a bit like, I'm not sure the color thing is all going. But it's really funny. He will not wear something the same color top and bottom, and it's an absolute flat rule for him. He will not do it. I'm like, okay, that's your rule, that's fine. In which case, let's just find some tweaks within that then about what you are doing on the
Right.
top and bottom. Bit like I wouldn't wear personally a black t-shirt with navy shorts, just wouldn't do it.
Right, right.
But he won't wear a black t-shirt with black shorts. He's like, oh, I'm all in black now. I'm like, yeah, that's fine.
That's
So it's
okay.
different. I get there's different preferences, and it's just finding your own thing
Mm.
in between. And actually, he's pretty much got there now. He's got
Well,
a good
and
dress sense.
he's
But
like slim, 6'2". He
6'2",
doesn't have to be
muscly,
monochromatic. So
blonde now.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah,
he
yeah.
can carry off. Even so, there's still something to be said about he understands about dressing well. And yes,
Right.
I do iron all of his t-shirts. I do. So
Mm-hmm.
when they're on, he looks great. And I'm be
Yeah,
interested to see how that carries on when he's now looking after his own laundry at university. However,
yeah. Well, probably not. There won't be an
Probably
iron,
not
I
ironing.
bet.
I was going to ask him, do you want to take one? He's like, I'd probably just look at me like, I'm like, are
No,
you
just pop
joking?
one in his bag
Yeah.
when he
Save your
doesn't
money, mum.
know.
We don't need one of them. But yes, sorry,
But
I
it looks like
digress.
some people, I mean, I'm not suggesting everybody irons things, and you know, I don't often iron everything, but I mean, some people just look like they just rolled out of bed, and I don't
No,
mean to be judgmental,
but you're
but
going to be.
geez, at least brush,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, but I'm going to
And
be.
hello, here goes.
Hi.
No, but honestly, and I stand behind somebody in line, and I'm like, you didn't even brush your hair. You just got up,
No,
threw whatever was closest on. Like, ooh.
but I
Like that's
guess
okay. There are some fundamentals,
there
and
are.
this people that want to feel better about themselves will still be listening, hopefully.
Yeah,
But you know, after you've done your routine of you know getting up early, going for a walk or doing a workout or whatever, then you know have a shower, do your hair. It doesn't have to be you know put it up, whatever, put
yeah.
it back or have it down. I don't know. Some
Even a
makeup.
cap. A cap
Yeah,
if
no,
you
don't
really
do
need to.
that. God, I hate that. That is one way to tell somebody that that someone's American,
Oh,
especially
really?
overseas. A ball cap. Yeah. Mhm. But like some makeup, if I don't have anything, it'll be mascara and lip gloss, you
Do you know
know,
what I thought it might
just
be quite fun? So why don't we
something.
share some of the things that we do with makeup? Because some people don't actually have the confidence or an idea about what to
Right,
do, do they? So what
right.
have you got like two top tips that you do with your makeup?
I always like to put some sort of like a foundation or a concealer on. My basics are like a good base, like I put a primer on, and then foundation, some sort of lip, you
Hmm.
know, and my eyebrows can like have a mind of their own, so I try and like
Yep.
brush them. Um, Mascara and yeah, bit of blush. That's like a basic one. Also do that bit of blush on my eyes,
Hmm.
right? And then, you know, a bit of eyeshadow if I'm doing more.
Yeah.
So, but that's pretty much, I don't do a lot of, I don't do the sculpting. I, you know, and I've tried it and I'm like,
It's not for you.
what? It's just some too much work. I
Yeah.
love, and I'm going to put this lady's, I'll put it below
Link.
in the show
Hmm.
notes. That French lady that I sent
Yeah.
you on
Hmm.
YouTube, she's delightful. And she talks about because I mean French women, you can't dispute they do have style.
They have got a style.
They can just like looks like they've just thrown something on, they look $1,000,000. Could
Yeah.
be just jeans and a shirt. But they look fantastic. They don't wear a lot of makeup. You don't see them doing the, you know, thing down the nose, lots of this, lots of under here, lots of all around here. And I mean, there's some great videos about doing your makeup, but people have to keep in mind that not everybody, one, the people doing it for the most part already have makeup on.
Yeah.
Two, the way that they're sculpting and stuff isn't for everybody. We all have different face shapes. So that's the thing to keep in mind. You know, when you put the dark around here, you're minimizing your forehead. So if you've got like a small
Small
forehead,
for it.
you don't
Yeah,
want to do
exactly.
that.
No.
Yeah. So it's good to keep it to a minimum, really. But this lady's name, and oh, it eludes me now. But she talks about capsule closets, what not to wear, like just and she's French, and, so, you know, she knows
Hmm.
as far as, you know, what French women wear, and then she talks about colors and just do's and don'ts and makeup and things like that, but she's not preachy, she's just so lovely, and especially, you know, she talks about bigger women, she talks about women over, like, 40, 50, 60.
Hmm.
So, yeah, definitely I'll put her link in because was
I
really
think
good.
that's another thing is with age. I think you shouldn't necessarily conform too much to the standards about what people
No,
expect for your age. I mean,
no,
you dress as I would dress, as you know, as in it. I wouldn't think we would differentiate on ages on that. I think that if you start to
right.
suddenly feel restricted by your age, then I think that's a real shame because I just think I don't think that should
And
happen,
you
should
can
it? And I
age yourself too, can't
absolutely,
you?
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. So
yeah.
I think don't do that. Do something that you feel comfortable in, but don't think you do it because you feel like you have to because of an age group. I
Right,
don't think that's
right.
necessary.
She has this thing where she takes like a white t-shirt and she does different things
Oh,
of
that's
dressing it up.
cool. Yeah.
Dressing it down was so cool. And then a dress. And when she put this dress on, she's like, nah, it ages me. It does this, does that. But then she did, she did a belt.
Yeah.
She changed the shoes with it. But one thing that she did with it that I loved was she had on like a black little tee or a tank and some fitted sort of black pants, and then she put the dress on, but she had it unbuttoned.
Oh, like a
So
almost
and
like
it
a, yeah, a
looked
shirt sort of thing. Yeah.
amazing because it was quite long. It went down to sort of like mid, calf,
Yeah.
and it just looked so cool. It looked like just
Chic.
a sh yeah,
Yeah.
very chic, but
Mhm.
very, simple. She just had some sandals on and yeah, it looked really good. Another thing she did was she had just a simple white dress and she took it from just, breakfast at home to a dinner out. She
Mhm.
went through then brunch out with somebody, lunch, and she just changed a few little things about it.
But then that
Yeah,
feeds into the
which you
capsule
can
wardrobe,
do.
doesn't it? Because then if you've got, a
Yeah,
set number of things, and I was thinking about a capsule wardrobe and also thinking make it season appropriate. So there's some things that you can have that are dress that you can even then put a base layer underneath it, for example, that then
right.
means you can then carry it through. So you don't have
Or
to
a
have
jumper over the top.
yeah,
That's
exactly. So
what
you don't
she
have
did
to
with
then
that
sort of
one.
think, oh, well, I need to have all of this and all of this. Maybe not. Maybe things will carry through and they will have a life, maybe
Mhm.
2, 3 years, you go, okay, it's done its thing, but it's got its money from it. And so that's fine.
Right,
You don't feel like you're just rattling through fast fashion, which, by the way, is so bad for sustainability and the environment that
right.
if you can avoid it, I would really urge people to do that because it
Yeah,
really, really is the biggest impact on our environment of all of the things, actually. So
yeah.
that's a whole conversation for another day. But yeah,
But people,
just
that's why, like, go through your closet before you do anything, or your wardrobe.
mhm.
Closet in America or wardrobe.
We all know what it
Yeah,
means.
anyway. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, good.
Yeah.
Go through that, go through all of that stuff. Like I said, and get rid of, stuff that's ripped, too baggy, etc. But
Yeah.
start with that and pick out the pieces that you love. Get
Love.
rid of stuff that you just
Yeah.
think that one day you might wear it, you put it on, you don't like it, you take it off, give them to charity. What's that challenge going to be for
So I think let's dress each day this week with something that represents the real you and invest some time in yourself. So that doesn't mean you have to go shopping. That doesn't mean that you may have time to do this massive wardrobe edit just yet, although that would be good to get done. But open your
Mm,
wardrobe and just choose properly, as in don't just select, but choose
mhm.
something that you feel represents the real you each day and include the accessories, include some earrings, some bracelets, whatever you have. I'm sure everybody has something. And,
Right.
accessorize it, including some perfume in your hair, and just then note the difference in your mindset, how you feel, how your day goes.
Yeah,
So that's our challenge this week, is just basically every day. And if in during that time you can think about a capsule wardrobe, then that would be fabulous. But we're not going to try and make it
right.
too large for one
And I
week.
mean, try and go through your closet because it's a really good way to start. And
Mm-hmm.
it inspires you. I get inspired when I go through mine.
Yeah.
Inspired that I need to, keep losing weight. But show up for yourself. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's showing up for yourself. Next week, and I think this is good. This kind of ties into
Mm-hmm.
what we've been talking about. We're talking about ways to simplify your life, really. Part one of many, because I think, like I said to Sarah, this could be a whole podcast about
Yeah,
this.
absolutely.
Kind of that minimalistic approach, I guess, but
Slow
just
living.
simplifying things. Sarah and I talk about this quite a bit because life can be chaotic and stressful at times. So if you're finding ways to help reduce the overwhelm, keeping things simple, be more organized, just to live a simpler life,
Yes, please.
um, that's next week, which
Yeah,
I'm into that
yeah,
very
absolutely.
much.
Me
So,
too.
yeah. Thank you for joining us today. Please visit our website and our blog. Every week we upload blog post, put the show notes in there and recipes, which I've been a little remiss about. but definitely getting onto that.
Uh-huh.
And all the past episodes are there. Links for our social media and YouTube are below in the show notes. And don't forget to subscribe to YouTube. Thank you so much for joining us. Until next week, bye for now.
Bye.